Live from the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Albaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Albaugh.
Good morning across the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide, the Civic Media app. I'm Todd Albaugh. It is Thursday. What day is it, by the way? It is the 11th of May, 2023. Glad to have you along with us for a Thursday. Beautiful sunny sky in the world headquarters of Civic Media on University Avenue here in Madison, Wisconsin. Hopefully it is sunny where you are as well. Looks like it should be a pretty nice day, particularly in the lower half of the state. Perhaps our friends up in the Wausau-Emery area might get a few more clouds. We'll check in with Kara Foster at the bottom of the hour for weatherology and get the complete weather forecast details for you after the 8:30 break. Also coming up today, yes, we will talk about it, but in a slightly different context. Did you see the old Trumpster last night? Did you check in on CNN, the debacle that was CNN last night? I'll be honest, I really did not watch the entire thing. I had a dinner with a former colleague of mine from congressional days. Had a very nice dinner at Gates of Brovey on Monroe Street here in Madison. It was a beautiful night. We walked down from her place and just kind of hung out. Good to see old friends. Good to catch up. Was a better use of my time last night. We talked about public education. We'll share more of that with you later on today as well. And then after that, it was just before sunset. And, you know, I thought it was a perfect night to watch a sunset. And so I went down to the Memorial Union Terrace and watched the sunset into Lake Mendota. Spectacular night to be at the terrace. All kinds of students in their graduation gowns, some of them, some just chilling out. A great evening. Mr. Aaron Zommers, our producer and engineer, joins us as per usual today. I'm not sure. Maybe he's looks like he's doing other things there. Or no, you're there. All right, sorry. The screen looks different. I'm used to looking up and seeing different things. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's my bad.
Oh, no worries. Oh, there it is. All right. Now we're back to per usual. I'm like, where did he go? What did you do last night, Mr. Zommers?
Well, one of my friends came over and we played Star Wars X-Wing.
Oh.
And then we went for a walk outside for a while and had some dinner. Nice. And it was a really good time. And because, like you said, it was beautiful outside yesterday.
It was absolutely beautiful. Good. Glad to have that time. You are off tomorrow, a well-deserved day off. Going to do a little turkey hunting, as I understand. And Mr. Luke Mathers is going to actually be in for you tomorrow. So are you just going back home to Manitowoc or around here? Where are you going?
Yeah, going back home to Manitowoc and going with my dad, turkey hunting.
Nice.
Both of us will just be getting up a little earlier than normal.
Just a little, yeah, right.
Well, legitimately just a little.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
Because I'll be getting up at 3:30 instead of 4.
All right, very good. Well, enjoy that turkey hunting to get a well-deserved day off. Have a good time tomorrow. Because you won't be here tomorrow, Mr. Zommers will be giving us his board game of the week in hour number 3 this morning. So looking forward to that. In hour number 2, stay with us for the 9 o'clock hour. We are going to be giving away 4 tickets to Sunday's Milwaukee Brewer game at home in AmFam Field. Club level seats, your own private entry, your private concession stands for the club level folks. Big lounge, TVs, padded seats, great view of the Milwaukee Brewers dugout as you sit on the third base side. If you have not gotten Mom a gift yet, you're going to want to be with us in the 9 o'clock hour to have your chance to win 4 tickets, a pack of 4, to go to the Milwaukee Brewers on Sunday. Looking forward to giving those away as well. Bear with me this morning. The allergy season is upon us. And I woke up this morning hacking up a lung. Not quite, but pretty near. So I've got the Mucinex, I've got ibuprofen, I've got the orange juice, I got the vitamins. So I apologize. It's a little out of voice today, but it's just the allergy season.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm not just miserable right now, because normally my seasonal allergies in both fall and spring are just terrible, but I haven't had any issues. Maybe the meds I'm taking for allergies are working, or
very good.
Maybe there's some plant that's more common in Manitowoc and Appleton than here. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see after you get back from turkey hunting how you're doing.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Here's what your weather forecast is across the state of Wisconsin. It's going to be another beautiful one in the southwest, in the driftless region. WRCE News from the center. Richland Center, mostly sunny skies today. A high of 80. 80. 80, as they say in Spanish. For tonight, partly cloudy. A chance of showers towards morning. A low of 58. Then for tomorrow, showers move in. 50% chance of showers and a high of 73 tomorrow. So, on Saturday. So today is definitely the day to get outside and enjoy it if you possibly can. Up in Wausau, WXTO, Bull Falls Radio, mostly sunny today. A high of 78, mostly cloudy tonight, a low of 56. And tomorrow, Friday, a chance of showers and a high of 76 degrees up in Wausau for a Friday. Then looking ahead over to Amory, WLAK, Lake Air Radio. Not quite so sunny today. A chance of showers and then maybe a thunderstorm this afternoon. A high of 74 in Amory today. A chance of storms and patchy fog tonight, a low of 59. And tomorrow, Friday, a chance of showers and patchy fog and a low of 75. So today, definitely the day to get out, particularly in Richland Center and Wausau. The rain already moving in. Looks like a drizzly day, or a drizzly weekend for Friday, Saturday, and unfortunately on Sunday as well for Mother's Day. So be aware of that if you can at all. Get outside and enjoy it if you possibly can. As I said, I was at the Union Terrace last night watching Hope Spring Eternal and these new young folks who are getting ready to go off and do their own thing. And we're going to come back and talk about what else was happening last night. On CNN, Chris Licht jumped the shark. We'll explain when we come back. This is the Todd Allball Show, and this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. Saturday, what a day. Rockin' all week with you. This day is ours.
Welcome back to the Todd Allball Show. It's now 8:15 on a Thursday, May 11th, 2023. Little theme song there from Happy Days. Hear a little bit more of Mr. Zommers. It's a great theme song.
It really is.
I'm her man. I'm gonna love her all I can. This day is ours. You be mine.
Had Fonzie, the Fonz, Richie Cunningham, had Mr. and Mrs. C, had Ralph Mouth, Potsy. Yeah, Joni and Chachi. By the way, Scott Baio, big news this morning. For all you Joni Love Chachi fans, it's devastating news. Scott Baio, Trump supporter, announcing he's leaving Los Angeles. I'm not making that up. He went all out to announce to his fans he is leaving Los Angeles. But that's not why we. I know that's not why we played the song. So last night on CNN, there was they billed it as a town hall with former President Donald J. Trump. And there was a lot of talk on Twitter and elsewhere on social media leading up to this about how dare they, how could they, why would they? After all, the guy was named by the bipartisan January 6th Commission in Congress as the instigator to the January 6th insurrection. So why would CNN do this? And I've said for the last couple of days, if they're having a debate of all Republican candidates for president, you can't exclude him if it's a group thing. And certainly if he becomes the Republican nominee for 2024, you have to put him on the stage against Joe Biden. But why would CNN give Trump a stage all to himself for no reason? And I was very leery of this. But I thought, well, we'll wait and see. Maybe it'll be spectacular. Maybe Caitlin Collins, the new up-and-coming host at CNN, maybe she'll really hold his feet to the fire.
I feel like you can't, though. The only way you can hold his feet to the fire is in retrospect, or as in like editing it after, and like he'll say something and then you pause it and do Morgan Freeman, or like, that was not true, not at all. Yeah. Or if you just have put him in a little plexiglass cage and turn off his microphone when it's not his turn to talk.
Well, that's certainly an option. So I had thought, well, I'll watch it. And I'd forgotten I made this dinner appointment with my friend, former colleague at the congressional office. And we had a lovely dinner last night, as I said before the break. And I thought, you know what? I'm not just going to race home because it was too nice of a night. And I'm not going to waste a sunset for Trump. And so I knew that it was taping on my DVR at home. So I just went and watched the sunset and came back. But I got into my truck to drive home. And I was listening to the Civic Media Radio Network, of course. And the Rick Smith program was on, of course, 8 until 10 each and every night here on Civic Media. And was listening to Rick Smith and his panel. We're doing a great job. It had just gotten over this town hall. And they were pointing out some great things about how this was just a disaster, how CNN did not hold its feet to the fire, how it was nothing more than a propaganda telemercial for Trump, infomercial. And then I got home and I turned CNN on, and I ended up watching a little bit of it, the actual thing on my DVR, and I am going to force myself to watch the entire thing just to say I did it. But what was as fascinating to me as anything else is the panel on CNN after this thing. Now, look, I have a lot of respect for Anderson Cooper. I think Anderson Cooper is a pro's pro. He's done great work, great journalism all over the world. He is a 60 Minutes correspondent for CBS. He's done some on Sunday. He had two great pieces. One in the morning on CBS Sunday morning, interviewing his best friend Andy Cohen. They both have children. Both happen to be gay. They're not into each other. They're like great friends, but they're great friends. But it's never going to work out as being partners. And it was a really cool interview between two friends who have kids and talking about Andy Cohen's career and being a dad. Great interview. And then that night, he had a very serious interview on CBS on 60 Minutes. Great journalist. I think Jake Tapper is a pretty good journalist on CNN. I think Wolf Blitzer does a good job for years on CNN. Dana Bash, John King. Several good journalists and interviewers on CNN that I've enjoyed through the years. But I turned CNN on after Trump's town hall last night and watched this panel where you had Anderson Cooper in the middle, and I believe Dana Bash to his right and John King to his left. And then you had three former Trump people, none of whom I'd ever heard of in my life, on this panel as well. And of course, they trotted out a token black Republican, I'm not sure if it was a current or former congressman, which to me is as baffling as a gay Trump supporter. Remember you had Caitlyn Jenner endorsed Trump in 2016? And there was a big thing at the 2016 Republican rally, and Trump was saying how he loved LGBTQ people, and it's all going to be, wonderful. Well, how'd that work out? Not so well. So I'm always baffled by these kind of token gay and token black and token Hispanic people. They trot out as Trump supporters. I mean, it's you're killing your own cause when you support this guy. Anyway, so you had this guy, this black Republican, either current or former congressman, never heard of in my life, some white, middle-aged, older dude, and then some younger woman. All in favor of Trump. And Anderson Cooper went to the congressman, or former congressman, whoever he was, and they allowed this guy to go on for like 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Anderson was asking him a question about the town hall, and this guy goes off and gives a Trump soliloquy of all the issues Trump wants to talk about. And it's the Republican line we're hearing about. Republicans don't want to talk about gun control, and so they've decided that their new narrative is going to be fentanyl. And we're going to, every time that gun control comes up, we're going to talk about fentanyl and the border. And how, why aren't we talking more about fentanyl? All these people are dying of fentanyl. It's coming across the border. Well, I don't know. Last time I checked, nobody went to the shopping mall and somebody ran up and forced fentanyl down their throat or put a syringe in their arm and put it in their arm. People aren't being randomly attacked by fentanyl people. They are being randomly attacked by AR-15s and guns. Anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now. But the point is that something is going on at CNN. And you've heard about this for a while, ever since Chris Licht took over as CEO. And I'm a kind of a goofy television entertainment nerd this way, so I follow this stuff. I find it fascinating. Chris Licht was the wonder boy that reinvented the morning show at CBS and brought back CBS This Morning. Did it around Charlie Rose, Nora O'Donnell, and Gayle King. And I love the program when it first came on the air and still watch it quite a bit now. It's changed, but still. But when the whole premise was we're not going to do, the hosts aren't going to put Halloween costumes on at Halloween. We're not going to decorate the studio for Christmas at Christmas time. It's going to be a more serious news program. It's going to be a round table like Charlie Rose's PBS program. And we're going to talk about the issues. And we're going to bring people into the studio around a round table, and the hosts are going to have this real banter. Not a bunch of canned questions, but actual banter. And it worked. And CBS This Morning shot up at one point to number 2 in the morning and was on its way to number 1. Had Charlie Rose not been caught up in the Me Too movement and turned out to be a schmuck. And the whole thing kind of fell apart. So Chris Licht then got recruited to go over to CBS's The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Because Colbert was wasn't really hitting his stride after moving from Comedy Central to Colbert Report and filling David Letterman's shoes. So Chris Licht went over, and Colbert was and he said this on the air, Colbert was very leery because Chris Licht was not a comedy guy. He was a news guy. And so basically they had this discussion where Chris Licht said, look, I know I don't know anything about comedy. How about you handle the writing and all the comedy, and I'll handle everything else? Well, it turned out to be great. They shot to number 1. Colbert is still there for the most part. Well, about a year ago, Jeff Zucker, then the CEO of CNN, also got caught up in a little Me Too problem. He was having a consensual relationship with a colleague at CNN against company policy. So he was gone. So the top brass at CNN said, let's go get Chris Licht. He turned CBS This Morning around. He turned Colbert around. Maybe he could help our ratings that are not great. So Chris Licht, about a year and a half ago, went over to CNN. And there's been this narrative put out there in the entertainment world that Chris Licht and or other people at CNN have decided that they're going to try to go after some of these more conservative viewers. That the hit on CNN was that it was too liberal. Well, I never found, as a former 30-year Republican and now an independent, I never found CNN too liberal. I found them to be fairly middle of the road, somewhere between MSNBC and Fox. And for the last few months, I've watched CNN for a decent amount, not all the time, but a decent amount. And I haven't been really able to detect this thing that people are talking about. Oh my gosh, they moved to the right. Well, last night my eyes were opened. Because if there's any doubt that CNN has gone off the deep end, it was last night. And so you're asking, well, why the heck do you play Happy Days to introduce this segment? Because in my opinion, last night, Chris Licht, the CEO of CNN, jumped the shark. Where does that term come from, jumping the shark? The idiom, jumping the shark, is pejorative and is used to argue that a creative work or outlet appears to have reached a point where it has exhausted its core ideas and is introducing new creative ideas that are discontorted with its core nature. That's the actual official definition on Wikipedia. Just thought I'd dial that up. What it basically means is a show, a network, anything, a group, an organization, they've completely run out of ideas. They don't know what to do anymore. And so they do something so bizarre that it basically gets so far beyond what the original idea or show was, you really can't go back. The phrase was coined in 1985 by John Hine in response to a 1977 episode from the 5th season of the American sitcom Happy Days, in which Fonzie jumps over a shark while on water skis. I remember this episode. First aired on September 20th, 1977. The episode, the central characters visit Los Angeles, where a water skiing Fonzie challenges, his bravery is challenged, and he jumps a shark. We'll come back and talk more about this and how it relates to the fiasco last night. This is the Todd Allball Show, and this is the CBS. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. That'd be great if we were on CBS.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know. Everything about it is appealing, everything that traffic will allow. Nowhere could you get that happy feeling when you are stealing that extra bow. There's no people like
Welcome back to the Todd Allball Show, the Civic Media Radio Network. It is now 8:33 on a Thursday, May 11th. Mr. Zommers, someone's birthday is today, a famous birthday indeed.
Yeah, so that is There's No Business Like Show Business as performed by Frank Sinatra. But it's not Frank Sinatra's birthday. It is Irving Berlin, the writer of that song, and about 1,500 others.
Great American composer.
Yeah, he is not important to American music. He is American music. That is, I don't remember who said that, but I didn't come up with that. The Great American Songbook, mostly all him.
Yeah.
And he's been performed by dozens and dozens of artists like Frank Sinatra, Fred Astaire, and some more modern ones like Michael Bublé. It's like every Christmas song, basically.
Right. No, it does a great job. Irving Berlin's birthday today. We're going to be celebrating some more of his music throughout the show today. Taking a break from talking about last night's CNN supposed town hall to talk about some actual important news. And, well, that's important too. But if we go to our weatherologist, our meteorologist at Weatherology, the fantastic Kara Foster. Kara, you've dialed up a nice one for most of the state again today. Sunny skies right now in Madison, Wisconsin. Maybe not so much so for Amory, but at least for half the state. Pretty nice day.
Yes, yeah, that's basically how it is for kind of the next couple of days. It's going to be very specific areas that will see some rain. Now, the only reason that Amory is going to see some rain and basically nobody else until tonight is because there's a system that's in the southern portion of Minnesota right now, and it has not moved. I swear, for the last at least 5 hours. It has stayed in the exact same spot. And once that does kind of break apart and it does start moving, it will make its way, I think, northeast. So that's kind of why it's going to be hitting Amory and more so not towards anywhere else. So if you're kind of wondering, well, why are we getting the rain over here in Amory and nobody else is, that's kind of why. It's because there's only one direction that this system will be going. Now, the rest of the state will be seeing some sort of rain, very scattered rain showers overnight, but it's going to be very, very scattered. Like I said, that's kind of the theme here. So today in Amory, those scattered showers and thunderstorms reach a high of 74. Sunny over in Wausau, a high of 78, and then sunny and 80 over in Richland Center. Now, I did mention that the rest of the state could see some scattered showers overnight. Those showers will continue into tonight as well. We'll dip down to 59 in Amory, mostly cloudy, 56 in Wausau, and then we'll see that dash of rain possible in Richland Center, back down to 58. And then from there, kind of just scattered showers each day. I wouldn't expect too much each day. You're still probably going to see some sunshine sprinkled in there, still some clouds that don't have rain, but don't be too surprised if all of a sudden it's like it starts raining a little bit, and it will be over soon enough. So scattered showers Friday, sunny, mid-70s, still the mid to upper 70s throughout the state. Those showers continue into Friday night as well. And then kind of just scattered showers still Saturday. I will say that Sunday for Mother's Day, the western portion of the state does seem more likely for some rain showers and kind of that battle of rain and sunshine still, and it will be cooler. Highs will be in the mid-60s throughout the entirety of the state. And then it does clear up for everybody on Monday. So it's going to be very scattered. Just keep your umbrella in your car, your raincoat. But thankfully, I mean, all else is basically fine. And as we've gone through each day, actually the chance has gotten lesser and lesser. So as we head into the weekend, it could even dissipate even more, which is pretty nice. And we should clear up more and dry out next week. So if you're kind of over the rain, it won't last forever, I promise. I'm meteorologist Kara Foster.
All right, Kara, as my mom likes to say, into every sky a little rain must fall. So just the way it goes.
There you go.
Right?
That's a good one. I like it.
Can't be sunny every single day. I got to have a little rain. That way you appreciate the sunny days even more, right?
Exactly. That's right.
All right, Kara, thanks so very much. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, you as well. Catch you then.
All right. Thank you very much, Kara Foster from Weatherology, with a pretty fine weather forecast, especially for this early part of May. At least the temperatures have warmed up. Don't have to wear a jacket, at least most of the days right now. So we will take that. We'll take your calls as well. Give us a call. If you watched the CNN town hall last night with Trump, we'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Also, what do you just think of CNN in general? 715-388-7155. Again, 715-388-7155. We'd love to hear from you this morning. So I was explaining this phrase, jumping the shark. And it came from Happy Days when the writers after season 5 decided they kind of run out of ideas, and to get ratings up, they put Fonzie on a bike and a life jacket and like skis and jumped him over this shark. And reading some of the things online from Ron Howard, who played, of course, Richie Cunningham, and other people, they were all kind of tepid about this, like, what the heck are they doing? And Ron Howard points out the show did go on and had some successful seasons after that. But a lot of people look at that as the turning point of, like, did the show start really kind of losing its momentum after that? So that jumping the shark has been a phrase, especially in the entertainment industry, that's been used where you've just gone too far. It just gets too far away from the core of the show. And in my opinion, that's what CNN did last night. Now, I don't know this for sure. I don't know anybody who works on the inside of CNN. But I can only guess that Chris Licht, the CEO, had to have green-lighted this entire idea. And my guess is a lot of that had to do with ratings. Because ratings are abysmal right now at CNN, as with most cable. Fox News, of course, ever since they let Tucker Carlson go, it's gone down, especially in his hour. And so who they chose, CNN chose this Caitlin Collins, who is an up-and-comer, who used to work for a right-leaning online publication and then started doing some stuff on television, ended up being the youngest White House correspondent for CNN, I believe 28. And now they put her on, Chris Licht put her on the morning show with now the departed Don Lemon and Poppy Harlow. Did not go well at all after Don Lemon made some disparaging remarks about middle-aged women having been past their prime in regard to Nikki Haley, presidential candidate and former governor of North Carolina. And so that didn't go well, and he wouldn't let it go. Again, well, like we talked about with this teacher up in Wausau, saying these racist and homophobic comments, instead of just saying, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, and move on, no, they got to keep doubling down on this stuff. And so CNN and Chris Licht had enough, and they said, Don, thanks for your service, you're gone. And apparently now, from reading Variety and other online trade publications, apparently they're lining up Caitlin Collins to take over the big hour, the 9 o'clock hour, 8 o'clock Eastern time on CNN. And so apparently this town hall last night was supposed to set Caitlin Collins up to be, she's got the chops. We're going to put her in prime time and really get the ratings for CNN. I don't know. Maybe my guess is when the numbers come in today, tomorrow, whatever, I'm sure CNN won the night last night. I'm sure they got big ratings and probably sold a lot of ads for it. But at what cost? And not just the event. But again, it's this panel and discussion afterwards where you give these people a platform. I fell asleep last night and forgot to change the channels when I turned the TV on this morning. When I woke up, it was still on CNN. And they were still this morning, the hosts on CNN this morning, still inviting Trump people in to give this Trump propaganda. It doesn't quit. You have to wonder, is this where they're going? Going to turn to a story this morning. It was in Rolling Stone yesterday that I think puts this in perspective better than I could. Entitled, CNN is hosting a town hall for a guy who tried to get me killed. It's by Michael Fanone. Of course. Oh, Toddy. See, this is an ongoing thing we have to work out here. Because you find these stories, not printing anything out. And so you find these stories. And so you get so many free articles. And so I had this all queued up, but I had this all queued up as I had to refresh the dang computer. And when you refresh the dang computer, now it wants me to subscribe. See, this is the problem with all this online crap. This is the problem with not being able to print things out. So let me just tell you about, because I read the story. So let me just tell you what the story said. This is lovely. So Michael Fanone is one of the police officers, the Capitol police officers who is at the Capitol on January 6th. And he points out in this article by Rolling Stone that we can't get to, that he was there on January 6th. He was doing his due diligence. He was protecting freedom and democracy with his life. And he went through the entire day of January 6th, got beat up, got a concussion, I believe had a heart attack afterwards, pointed out that several of his fellow police officers died of suicide in the days and weeks after January 6th. And that the bipartisan committee in Congress for January 6th came to the conclusion that the entire day was instigated by Donald Trump. And Michael Fanone is a contributor on CNN. All right? He appears there, and he points out, I get a check every month for making so many appearances as kind of a consultant or a talking head on CNN. Going to be very interesting to see if CNN continues that relationship after this article yesterday in Rolling Stone. If you're unlike me and have not used up your free articles, I encourage you to go check it out. It's called CNN is hosting a town hall for a guy who tried to get me killed. And he points out that if you want to just talk about politics of the presidential race, that's fine. But if you're going to give Donald Trump an unfettered platform, that's a whole other thing. And he called on his fellow CNN anchors and contributors to say the same thing. Last night, if you didn't watch it, I'll give you a couple of the lowlights. Last night, Donald Trump refused to say that he wanted Ukraine to win the war on Ukraine by Russia. Wouldn't take the Ukrainian side. Last night, Donald Trump proudly took credit for the Dobbs decision last year, which took away every woman in Wisconsin's right to healthy access to health care and an abortion if necessary, especially in the case of rape or incest. Donald Trump took the credit for that. Said, yeah, that was me. I appointed those Supreme Court justices full well knowing and expecting that's what would happen. That's me. He literally drilled down on drilling down. Came out completely against renewable energy. And only for oil and carbon energy. On every single issue that Wisconsin voters rejected a month ago in the race for state Supreme Court between Janet Protasewicz and Dan Kelly, Donald Trump was on the wrong side. Donald Trump also last night on the record said that he would pardon, if reelected, would pardon virtually all of the January 6th insurrectionists that attacked the Capitol. Only making a caveat, well, there might have been a couple. I believe he used the term a couple that went a little too far. But the rest, he said he'd be inclined to offer pardons to. Caitlin Collins tried to push back on a couple of things. He basically just rolled her. Just kept on going. And the thing was that the way CNN set this up, the room was filled with about 200 Trump supporters. He also, by the way, attacked his accuser, E. Jean Carroll, who hours before he had been found liable for, sexually assaulting her. And he went after her, made fun of rape against women, and the audience laughed. That's the platform that CNN provided last night. Back with more after this. This is the Todd Allball Show, and this is the this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Heaven, I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I
Welcome back to the Todd Allball Show. It is now 8:50 on the Civic Media Radio Network. I actually got my own network right. I don't know why I've got CBS on my mind this morning. Irving Berlin's birthday today, so we're playing a lot of Irving Berlin this morning, celebrating his birthday. We are in anything but heaven. If you watched any of the Trump fiasco last night on CNN, want to hear your responses as well. 715-388-7155. Number to call if you'd like to weigh in this morning. Would love to hear from you. Did you watch the interview last night or the debacle? It wasn't an interview. It was a propaganda machine thing. It was giving an insurrectionist basically unfettered 90 minutes on a national cable news network to spew his ridiculousness. 715-388-7155. I'd love to hear from you. 715-388-7155.
Now, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Since I did not watch it, was it better or worse than the Trump versus Biden debate? In that this time we should have had some hindsight, so I could see how this could be worse because of that. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it's a good question. It's hard to compare the two because you had two actual candidates going back and forth. Where last night they were
supposed to be going back and forth,
right? Well, but last night it was an insurrection, a leader of an insurrection against. I have to be careful because people are going to say I'm being sexist. I don't think it was the strongest anchor that CNN could have put up there against Donald Trump.
Just because it's somebody who's newer, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's younger, she's newer, she doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have any, you could have, you know what, here, so people don't, think this, oh, Todd, you're just saying that because she's a woman. No. You know who they should have put up there? If they wanted a woman on there, that's fine. Put Christine Amanpour. She's a veteran journalist who doesn't take crap from anybody. I mean, put Dana Bash up there. Doesn't quite have the same journalistic chops, but she's more seasoned. I know why they did it. And this article that we can't bring up a Rolling Stone, Michael Fanone, in his article, he's a contributor to CNN. He said it flat out. The reason CNN, his network, is doing this is for money and ratings, period. Period. I feel sorry for, what's her name? Woman who was the anchor last night. I feel sorry for her. She wasn't ready for that kind of a stage. She doesn't have the experience. She doesn't have the journalistic chops to go up on a stage like that. Caitlin Collins. And she had a couple of instances where she pushed back, but she basically got rolled. Now, you can say maybe Anderson Cooper, maybe Jake Tapper, maybe Wolf Blitzer would have gotten the same treatment, but I doubt it. I mean, they just would have said, no, you can't, you're not going to say that. We're not going to let you go down that road. And she tried a couple of times, but Trump just rolled her over. I'm not going to blame this on Caitlin Collins, all right? She's a fine reporter in her own right. She's doing the best she can. And look, if you don't have the experience, you don't have the experience. It doesn't matter whether you're a man, woman, whatever. There's something to be said for experience. But to your point, your question, Mr. Zommers, there wasn't as much talking over each other last night because Caitlin Collins just didn't push back as much. So it wasn't quite as much of a yelling match back and forth as the Biden-Trump debates were. But I would say in some ways it was worse because Because there wasn't that. At least Joe Biden was calling Trump on the carpet in those debates. At least there was more between Biden and the moderators. There was more fact checking going on than last night. I mean, there were several times and again, I haven't seen the entire thing. I've seen most of it. I'm going to watch the rest of it tonight. But from what I saw and from the analysis that I saw and read afterwards, there were several times when Caitlin Collins just kind of moved on. And again, not to acknowledge that the room was filled with mostly Trump supporters, that's on CNN, the network. That is on Chris Licht. To put mostly or at least half of the Trump supporters on a panel afterwards and let them, again, kind of go through this stuff unfettered. And you could tell, if you watch Anderson Cooper and Jake Tapper, you could tell they were seething. They were just like, why am I here? How can I be a part of this? I felt bad for them.
Yeah, the little clips I've seen, it looks rough.
Yeah. So, again, as my communication professor at UW-Platteville said, it all comes down to the dollar sign. All comes down to money. And Jack O'Neill was 100% right. For CNN last night, it all came down to the dollar sign. Chris Licht struck out so far with CNN this morning. He was betting, he put all of his chips on that show. Don Lemon let him down. Show was marginal at best anyway, even with Lemon. They haven't been able to fill the 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock slot in the evening, the prime time hour. Other changes haven't worked. So Chris Licht decided to go the easy route, go for the low-hanging fruit, and put Trump essentially unfettered in prime time across the nation for a propaganda piece. He jumped the shark. And I'm not sure how CNN recovers fully from this without a major house cleaning and a major change. I gotta believe that Chris Licht is not long for CNN. Unless they simply unless the ratings will probably be spectacular from last night. And maybe they'll put Caitlin Collins the 9 o'clock hour, and maybe she'll kill it. And then Todd will be completely proven wrong. Happened several times before. But as someone who enjoys actual journalism, I was not impressed last night. But as Major Garrett said this morning on CBS Mornings, watch his analysis. This was great. This was what Major Garrett, chief political correspondent, Washington correspondent for CBS this morning. He said, basically what you had last night was a political version of the the Golden Corral buffet. There was something for everyone, but some things were mislabeled. Trump came in, he got what he wanted at the buffet. Republicans got what they wanted at the buffet, and even Democrats got what they wanted. Because I'll tell you right now, with Donald Trump taking full credit for the Dobbs decision, that clip will be attached to every Republican congressman and U.S. Senate candidate across America. With Donald Trump saying last night that, yes, he thinks Republicans should force a default on the country. If that actually happens, that clip will be attached to every Republican congressperson seeking re-election. So the Democrats did get something politically last night. They got some great clips. Also, all these attorneys still investigating Trump, they got something last night. Because they can look at this thinking some of what he said last night very well may be used in depositions and evidence against Trump in some of these upcoming trials. Major Garrett's fantastic. I really want to have him on the show. The Golden Corral buffet, the political buffet last night. It was something else. We'll be back with hour 2, including Milwaukee Brewer tickets, a 4-pack. We're giving them away next hour. Stay with us. This is the Todd Show.